Cold today.
No, not really. It's probably around, what, 35?
I would say so.
Oh, by the way, Sig P226, 0 malfunctions. We've had malfunctions. Glock 22 had one. SHOT Show. This is the Sig Sauer Booth. Man, this booth is rocking and rolling. There's a lot going on. It is harder than heck for me to find time with the Sauer reps here, and I finally did it. Sir, thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. Eric Vonbosse with Sig Sauer. I'm the product manager here.
So this is one of the main dudes.
Well, I guess. I'm here to do the best I can.
Okay. We have a lot to talk about. Can we start off first with your changes in the Sig P226 line?
Absolutely. We'll wander over here.
Okay.
Big changes in the 226 and the 229 line would be the E-square. We'll bring it over and we'll take a look.
The E-squared P226. I'll kind of point the video down, the camera down, because there's some people that may not want to be on camera, so please bear with us on that. There we go. Look at that.
So up top we have the 229, and down below we have the 226. And the E-squared really stands for enhanced ergonomics.
Okay.
Our guns have never really been known to accommodate the small-handed shooter. SIG guns are big, so we've been really trying to listen to our market segment out there. And the biggest change on the E-square models of 226 and 229 is a change in the grip configuration to accommodate smaller-handed shooters. We reduced the backstrap area, a little more contours on the side. A few other changes with the grip. It now uses the same stippling texture we use on the P250, so it's a much more aggressive grip.
I really like that
very
texture. That's awesome.
And it also snaps on, so it removes the need for grip screws, which tend to loosen up during shooting anyway and falling out. So it makes it for a very modular grip and a much more comfortable gun for a wide range of shooters. On the 229, we've done the same thing with a few additional changes. The 229 now has an entirely different slide profile from what you would have seen in years past. 229 used to have the grasping grooves centered down here. On the E-square version of the 229, it is a new slide. And with that new slide, it retains the look of the 226, has the same type of grip with the backstrap reduction for comfort. Both of these models feature our short reset trigger, reduces the reset about 60% over a standard double action, single action pistol. The biggest change in this is that it utilizes the 40 caliber frame for a 229 in 9mm, so it gives us 15 rounds of 9mm instead of 13.
That's huge.
It's a bump of 2 rounds in the 229, so it really makes this a brand new gun for a much wider range of the market segment. Very excited about that.
And the E2 is going to be a railed frame as well?
It is.
Always.
It is. And this initial model, the E-square, it's the initial modeling of this grip. It's available 9mm for each of these models. It will follow by 40 in both models, and this grip will eventually migrate into other models in-house. And one of the main reasons we're doing that is to really try to standardize on one frame across the board for 229, as we've had with 226 for a number of years.
Okay, are you going to continue to carry the classic 226?
And we will. This gives us much more options. These frames still retain the holes for the grip screws, so it now gives us a much wider ergonomic selection, which is really important for law enforcement agencies that have multiple hand sizes.
Magazine's the same? Does it take the regular?
Magazine on 226 is the same. On the 229, it is a new magazine for the 9mm.
Makes sense because the capacity differences.
Yes, sir.
My initial take on this, since I am kind of large-handed, as I've said in my reviews, a little bit small for me, but that's to be expected because it's a reduced grip frame size on a full-size pistol.
And for folks like you, we still have the ability to use our standard grips, and then the Hogue. We use the Hogue rubber grips for folks that have really large hands because they add some width to it. So it does make a tremendous difference.
Excellent.
But that's the most exciting thing in the classic line itself. We also have many more expansions of our 238 line.
Yeah, talk to us. How's the 238 doing?
We can't build them fast enough. Realistically, this year has been a banner year for most manufacturers in the subcompact 380 market as concealed carry tends to spread wider and wider. We initially came out this last year with just two versions of the 238, a black version of Nitron, as well as the two-tone version. Now we've added a number of other models. Most of those are graphically different, where we have wood grips on a number of models. This is a rainbow titanium model, which uses a high polish slide that has a special plasma type coating. Makes it very unique. The most exciting one is the new HD. This is a stainless frame 238. It makes it one of the most comfortable guns we have to shoot. Very accurate, works like a champ. That'll start shipping to dealers sometime within the next 30 days.
Downside, steel frame, that's going to weigh out 26 ounces or so?
Yeah, that adds a little bit of weight to your pocket.
Sure.
So the positive side
Firepower
is
versus
a little more
mobility.
control. So again, different options depending on what the consumer's looking at.
Right on. So if you type in Sig P238 review in Google, you know you probably get a Nutnfancy review coming up, right?
Absolutely.
Did you see it yet? Probably not. Have you seen the P238 review? I did a whole bit on that.
Actually,
I know I
I
was
have
talking
not.
to your other guys. They were stoked about it.
Very cool.
Very positive review. You had a recall on this, and let me give you big kudos to Sig, and I haven't made a bit of this, of good customer service.
Thank you. You know, when we encounter a problem, problems like that we certainly don't wish. We like to catch all of the problems before a gun is finished development. When we do catch a problem, we certainly make a very strong effort to rectify it as quickly as we can. That's important.
And Eric, I said, like Ruger's done the same thing. A lot of guys, things happen in the manufacturing. I said, give the guys a free mag. I wrote it as Nutnfancy recommending they give a free mag, and I don't know if they listen to me or not, but they do. You guys give a free mag if a Sig P238 is sent in for the work.
Very good.
That's a great job, Sig. So that's the P238 line. It's selling like crazy. Different variations, different finishes, and now you can have a steel one. What's up with the 5.56 line, Eric?
5.56. Well, what do we have new for the 5.56?
This is my favorite handguard you have, just a classic, because it's most ergonomic.
This version is very similar to the existing 5.56. We call it the 5.56 Patrol, and it's available in the standard handguard version as well as a quad rail version, what we call the SWAT. And what this does is take the short gas system we use on the 5.56 pistol, as well as the 10-inch versions for law enforcement, with a 16-inch barrel, so it's a commercially available weapon. Short gas system reduces the weight, but it also changes the balance a little bit, so it's a much easier pointing rifle. Ideal for 3-gun matches. Been a very popular seller. Very popular seller.
So, and that's your thinner barrel, right?
It is.
Offered in different barrel thicknesses. How many profiles on the 5.56 do you have, Eric?
We currently have two. We have our standard profile for the standard rifle, and we have a heavy barrel version you can see on the DMR, which is really our more of a scoped rifle version.
Designated marksman rifle, you
Absolutely.
bet?
And that features a Mapul PRS stock, a one-piece quad rail on the gun now, ships with a Harris bipod, has an upgraded trigger with over-travel stop.
Well, kind of a thick rail on the front, bro. That's my take on the 5.56 rail system.
Yeah.
If you use a VG, it's not a problem. I mean, not on this gun. This is more of a bipod gun.
It definitely
on
is,
that one.
but even on that, a vertical grip makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does, because it's just a little bit bulky.
We do provide rail covers for those, but realistically, this is not the gun to have unless you plan on hanging stuff off that type of weapon system anyway in the way of accessories, whether they're tack lights or laser designators, that type of thing.
Roger that. I'm like I said, that's just my own bias. I was really glad to see you came out with the classic.
I am too. It was the right decision.
Love it.
And again, that's customer feedback. When the initial 5.56 was released with the M4 stock.
Yep.
That was done based on input from law enforcement.
Right.
And our true customer base wanted a Swiss-style stock. They wanted a rifle very similar to the 551.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we listened to them. It was the right decision for us.
How's that selling? Good?
It sells very well.
Excellent. By the way, I was going to ask you in the pistol,
yes.
How's 9 versus 40 selling pistol-wide in the SIG line?
Well, realistically, this last year, 9mm 40, it was really based on what ammunition was available. Most competitive shooters, guys that are shooting an IDPA or IPSC, tend to stay with 9mm because of the cost. They shoot a lot. Personal protection tend to favor 40 because of stopping power.
Yeah.
So it's about an even mix, and in law enforcement agencies, it's still about an even split between 40 and 9mm.
Okay, I'm a big fan of 40, as I'm sure you are. It's just a great, well-balanced cartridge, but the 9 is far from dead. True?
Oh, it absolutely is far from dead.
Yeah,
and
even defensively, I think a lot of people choose it. With proper loads, it does work.
And it makes sense. It makes sense.
Can we mosey on down and maybe show them the 516? Is that publicly releasable yet or no?
Well,
do you want it to be or no?
Realistically,
talk
honestly,
to me.
If we didn't have it here, I'd be just as happy because we're not shipping it. It is in the commercial program, but it's primarily based as a law enforcement model. We will be shipping to law enforcement agencies as far as test and evaluation samples within the next month, 2 months, 3 months. So
it's probably a year away for it to hit the commercial market?
Realistically, probably mid-summer, if everything goes well.
Do you mind talking about it now?
I can talk a bit about that. Sure.
Okay, cool, because I think it's an exciting design.
Well, it definitely is. It's a new design for us, and much like the 5.56 fills
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of agencies that would staff an AR-type rifle where they wouldn't staff a 5.56 based on the difference in operating controls and that type of thing. So for us, it made perfect sense to have both systems available.
Yeah, and that's a proprietary SIG design, obviously, right?
It is, and it's a standard AR-type rifle with the exception of the piston system itself.
Right.
Piston system similar to some of the other piston systems out there, but quite a robust design, so not a tappet system, as it were. Ships standard with a 3-position gas valve. There's no 4-position gas valve, again to accommodate different types of ammunition loads, frangible, suppressed, and single shot. Other than that, it does utilize a standard AR-type upper and lower receiver. That'll be 70-75 grade forged blank.
This is a weak spot in some gas guns right here, Eric. This thing, LWRCs. Have you guys done extensive firing on your SIG 516?
We have, and it's still ongoing. The durability testing for this, because we are really looking for a mil-spec weapon here for both domestic and export sales.
Right.
So the testing is ongoing, and improvements will continue to be made throughout the life cycle of the weapon. But certainly durability is one of the biggest questions, as well as passing the over-the-beach test.
Yep. Out of the water, into the fight.
Absolutely.
I kind of wish that had a fuller profile. There's Nutnfancy again talking about the thin barrel. Army's kind of moving away from that, I'm hearing. And then, you know, this thickness, and if you need an M203, notch it. That's just my data point. This, by the way, guys, is light, pretty light. I don't have a scale, but I'm thinking about 7.2 maybe. And I'm talking this one up here with this fully. This has the handguard off it, obviously. Do you know the weight offhand, Eric?
Not offhand. It's mid-sevens.
Mid-sevens, which is reasonable.
Well, this rifle will have a standard 16-inch configuration for the commercial market. For the all of them will come with quad rails, aim and exercise controls. For the law enforcement government sector, we'll have a 10-inch version, a 7-inch version, 14.5-inch version, 16-inch version. Pretty much whatever barrel length you want. Absolutely, and then a heavy-barreled 18-inch version.
Check that out. That's a SIG grip. Is that your own grip?
It's a vendor-supplied grip. We still have not finalized grip configuration. You'll also see a couple of different stocks here, a SPOMOD type stock, as well as the Mapul CTR.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons we're showing these at the commercial show is to get feedback feedback on features
Okay.
people want to see. Same thing we do with the 5.56 before introduction. But we really want to hear from our law enforcement base what they want on the rifle, from a rail system to pistol grip to stock, to make sure we're making the right choice.
Okay, here's some feedback. Ready?
Absolutely.
This rail system where you have a full Picatinny up and down, I think is kind of going by the wayside.
Okay.
A good reference point for that is the UBR rifle by Larue. See what they're doing? The reason is this is a lot of metal I'm carrying as a Leo that I don't need to be carrying. If anything, I'm going to put a light here. I never use this back here. I might use it for VG here, but I really like that the user can adapt the interface. Also, I would like to see that rail very trimmed to the barrel, like Daniel Defense, Troy Industries makes one, also the Larue. Very close to the barrel, it's very trim. The downside might be, well, you might have a little more heat bleed over during extended firing. That can happen, but it'll reduce weight, reduce the form factor. That's just my 2 cents right there.
Absolutely well worthwhile.
Yeah, take it for what it's worth.
I appreciate it.
I really see these rails, the full rails, kind of going by the wayside.
Okay.
Because weight, and as I move through the SHOT Show, that's what I'm getting. I'm getting that a lot of vendors are really on, our manufacturers are on to the weight issue.
As well they should be.
Yeah,
Well,
they're getting that feedback from the guys in Afghanistan, Iraq, saying, dude, I got a 120-pound combat load. Shave me off 20 pounds. So thinner materials that will still function. You know, aluminum, carbon fiber. So that's good. I harp on that all the time.
That's ideal. That's ideal.
The lighter you can make this. If you can make this 6.5 pounds, full profile, or let's say mid-profile barrel. This is thin, and this is a little bit thick, but if you go just mid-profile, a good example would be the LWRC M6A2. That is a mid-profile barrel, perfect for roll. That's just a data point for me, dude.
Excellent.
Hey, you got some 7.62 rifles?
And we do. We have three 308 versions here on display.
Cool.
Similar in concept to the AR-10. They'll use a modified M14 magazine.
Okay.
Same basic gas system, same basic operating system as the 5.16, but in a 308 version.
Can I go grab that?
You absolutely can.
Well, that one's going to be too heavy for me, dude. We'll use this one, and you can be my spokesperson. Okay, let's get you in the light here. Sorry, guys, for the camera problem. There you go. Okay, now that is a Sig 7.62 by 51 battle rifle, right?
It absolutely is, and that also showcases Loophole new 1-to-8 CQB sight, which is phenomenal.
Really, 1 to 8 power sight.
It's a really nice optic.
It looks awesome. Also looks heavy. Back to the weight issue.
That's the weight to it.
Okay.
This is a heavy rifle anyway, to
Okay.
say the least.
Most of those 308, I call them sappers, Eric, semi-automatic precision rifles.
Sure.
They're going to be around the 9-pound naked, if you're lucky.
And that's about right.
I'm seeing that come down from vendors. I'm seeing some 8.5, maybe 8 and 1/4 pound 308 sappers come out.
Sure.
But generally, and this isn't really a per sap. This is more of a patrol rifle.
This one here, and I think the majority of the business that we'll do will be on the 18 and the 20 inch.
Yeah. So that's a 14-inch barrel on that. Maybe not representative of the line so much.
But an interesting concept. We've had a big demand for a 308 version rifle.
From Sig.
Oh, absolutely. So.
Do you find that guys like Sig just because they know it's going to be engineered to a certain level?
I think so. I mean, you know, our products are certainly priced higher than a number of the other products in the marketplace. One reason you pay that higher price is the time that goes into the R&D side, as well as the service you give after the sale.
I'll vouch for that.
It's all part of the package. So
I think your fit and finish is pretty tops too.
one of the things we really are trying to focus on, obviously our commercial business is very important to us, but we also see that our military and government business is extremely important to us. And
both markets.
you know, we were a pistol company 5 years ago. We're now really a rifle company that also does pistols. So the product line has really grown in the last couple of years.
I
based on
agree.
market demands. So
What magazine is that using, Eric?
that is currently using a modified M14 magazine, and again, the magazine configuration is not totally finalized. So
this is still in development.
Still in development.
So guys,
this gun is still 6 months out.
Yeah, you guys seeing this, please understand that this is an insider's look of what's coming at SIG. So, you know, calm down if you're like, oh, when's the 516 coming out? You know, my guess, and Eric said it earlier off camera, maybe midsummer, civilian version. There's lots of great alternatives out there. SIG's one of them. Realistically speaking, probably 9 months from now you'll see it out, and that's assuming you do your part politically to preserve your rights. If you don't, it could change everything. A lot of the stuff you're seeing at the show could go bye-bye if some laws are passed and the civilian market gets shut down. It could happen.
Yes, sir.
Great. Well, I'm excited to see that. The 516, it's a lighter weight alternative than perhaps the 556.
It definitely is. It's a different operating system.
Yep.
So it makes it a lot. It gives us more options where we're trying to transition an agency where they've already invested time and effort and training on an AR type system.
So they have that body of knowledge.
It's a better choice for them than necessarily a 556.
Exactly. How about any new things in the SIG Classic lineup that you?
Not really much to talk about other than the P250, which has now made its generation or its genesis through its full development. So we have a number of different models available for the 250. This is a California DOJ approved version of the 250.
That's
something that we've been. It's something that we've been waiting to do. It's been about 6 months in process, and it's taken a long time to get approved. What that does, this is the first new model for SIG that's been approved in California since the requirement for an LCI and a mag safety disconnect has come on board.
Wow, and that represents a little bit of cost for you guys to bring that out, does it not?
It does. It was some development costs. California is one of our largest markets. It's also one of our most important markets because of the political implications. So what this does now is it gives us a LCI design, load chamber indicator design that's approved for California that we will now port to other models. So a number of the models that we have not submitted to California, Elites with the short reset trigger, a number of P238, all of those models will now be processed through for California as well.
Excellent, and that kind of opened the doors for that.
It did. So that's a big push.
How's the P250 doing overall in your lineup as far as sales go?
I think it's doing very well. This is the first year we've had all the caliber versions available in full-size, compact, and subcompact.
Right.
Thank you. So it's really the first time we've been able to show the public and deliver on the modularity that this gun offers, and it's modularity that's at a much lower price point than the traditional Sig Sauer pistol. The quality is still there, the cost of manufacturing is less, so the selling price is less, so it balances out well. One of the new packages is, I don't have one sitting here, we probably have to go back over there.
Yeah, let's go back over there, because I want to show them the grips of the 250. Look at these grips right here, dudes. Awesome. Oh, and we're going to talk about the 522. I got one of those in the Nutnfancy project for testing. Very exciting. These are more SIG variations, 556. Yeah, I'm right behind you, dude. I'm really lucky to have Eric with the Nutnfancy project right now. There are lots of people waiting to talk at him. Oh, okay, well let's do 522.
We'll do 522 because that's what we have here. So this is the 522.
I will say right now, very excited about the gun. And I've already shot it. For accuracy, I've shot it.
Excellent.
I've got data points already. The trigger's pretty good. It's kind of a long, almost double action-like trigger, but it's very crisp with a nice let-off on it.
Excellent. We put a lot of time into the development of this rifle, primarily because we had a couple of our designers who really like shooting rimfire.
Right, right.
They put a lot of time and effort in here. One of the complaints of many rimfires is that they're very finicky on ammunition.
Hang on just a sec. I'm running out of SD card. I gotta swap SD cards. It's just so much material. Dovetail the clips. Just one sec. Hang on. Yep. Okay, dovetailing this in, talking about the SIG 522, which I think is probably one of the most exciting things coming out of SIG myself. You were saying?
Well, and one of our big design goals in the 522 is to make sure that we had a rifle that would shoot the full range of 22 ammunition reliably. That's always a question with 22s. So we put a lot of time and did a lot of design work to make sure that we met that goal. rifle. The 522, very similar to the 556 in the standpoint, uses the same forends, the same stock, the same pistol grip. We were looking for a rifle that was the same basic configuration as the Sig 556, but that shot rimfire.
Amen.
It's a great way to teach new shooters. It's a great way for agencies to train based on 22 ammunition costs. Some differences between this and the standard 556. This uses a polymer lower, and why? For weight reduction, saves about.
I have no problem with that at all.
And in a 22, it makes sense. We use an aluminum upper receiver, an integrated Picatinny rail for optics. The gun ships. This shows optional accessories. The gun ships without sights. That was done to keep the price point down where it needs to be, so people can afford to buy them. Most people will put optics on this rifle to shoot it, and I expect that at some point soon we will have an iron sight option for this as well. Hopefully by midsummer. Uses a magazine, 25 round capacity. We also offer it in a 10 round capacity. For the restricted states, we have a version, because it's a rimfire, it is legal in California.
Excellent. With a 10 round mag?
With a 10 round mag, that's correct. So we have that version available. We are also going to be releasing state compliant versions for the other states that have restrictions on flash suppressors and that type of thing. So we will have that available out there this summer as well.
Okay, this has been in the project already, Nutnfancy project. I've already have a fair amount of trigger time on the 522. You will see a separate tabletop. Here's my take on it. It is huge. It is awesome. What he said about the 22, I can vouch. I put 3 different types of 22s through the 522, and it was 100% reliable. Let me repeat that. 100% reliable for a rimfire rifle. I haven't seen that with CMMG. I haven't seen that with a Kel-Tec SU-22. A lot of the other tactical 22s, Smith & Wesson, M&P 22, or whatever one that is. This is 100%, so they spent a lot of time doing that. I'm just saying that because I want you guys to know, remember, I tell you when it's a real deal, that's a real deal. This thing is very reliable. They went with a Black Dog magazine, which is huge. I'm going to repeat myself in tabletop, but this is a very common, very well proven magazine system, dovetailing into the 522. Smart choice. They didn't go with something proprietary. Love it. Aluminum. I think this is one of the reasons it's so reliable, Eric, is that it's a very rigid chassis which your bolt rides in. Once you take that bolt out in the 522 and you see how slick it is, you understand that, like you said, there's some thought put into the whole system. Let's make this bolt ride very smoothly and reliably. Big charging handle, that's a huge plus. Great train. I have no problem coming off offside, charging that just like I do any number of weapons like the Mini 14. Here's a downside. If you talk to your stock guys, please mention this.
Absolutely will.
Tighten this dimension up. See this wiggle in here? That is obnoxious. And I took the gun apart and looked at it. That plastic portion that comes out, if they were just dimensionally increase that a little bit and thicken that up, you would tighten that up. And also, like I mentioned to you off camera, this little screw back here, you can actually sub in a different shoulder pad to increase your length of pull, a la Sig series, 500 series. I would love to see this screw tighten up because I stripped the one out that I have in for testing.
Absolutely a good recommendation, and we'll certainly address that.
Cool. Overall, home run. The lockup on the stock itself is fine. That is a good design. Let's show them how that works. Look at the steel catch on that 522 mechanism. See that? That's a tongue and groove system. We saw that on some other designs at the SHOT Show, and it locks up tight. I think it's going to be durable. The safety is ambidextrous, by the way. You can actuate it left or right, and in my firing, I was doing both, just practicing with it. Sorry, man, I'm talking, but man, it's an exciting design, and it's a great training tool. Look at the look they achieved. What is this? That's a plastic plug. It's not even real, but I like that you have it in there. It makes it look
and
real.
It gives you a storage tube for a small cleaning kit.
Peanut M&Ms.
Whatever you might need.
Whatever you need. It might melt on you.
Yes, sir, it might.
Cool. Awesome. That's the Sig 522. Thank you, Eric. And then we were going to go look at the P250 grips.
Absolutely. We'll take a wander up there.
I would like to show guys. I did a tabletop review on the Sig P250 already. I did say and gave it a hit that, you know, swapping the grips out, the barrel out, the magazine or whatnot is going to be somewhat expensive. I still think it is. There's a subcompact P250.
An important thing to remember is
But look at the variability that you have there.
And this is one of the most exciting things with the 250.
Here, we'll step away so we can hear you. I don't know how good I'm picking you up. I hope I am. Okay.
So this version is the 252, so it was released just prior to Christmas.
Okay.
And this is important for us because conveying the modularity of this pistol to the commercial market is a challenge. It's something that's different from what a lot of people are used to.
Right.
So the two-sum provides one gun, but you're actually getting two guns in one. So it uses the frame, the modular frame and assembly. It transfers between the full-size gun and the subcompact gun, priced about the same as the price of a standard 229. So what you're really getting is a full-size 9mm and a subcompact 9mm, one serial number, one firearms purchase at a price that you would pay for a normal SIG gun, giving you a full-size gun to shoot at the range.
Wow.
You can reconfigure it in less than a minute with no tools, put it on your belt and carry it concealed on the way home.
Excellent. And this is the subcompact frame you said, Eric?
Subcompact itself. Yep.
I like
so you have
that.
the two extremes, available in 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson. And again, like any of the 250 models, assembly and conversion is very easy. Like all SIG pistols,
I love
it
the SIG
disassembles from
takedown.
the
It's industry setting.
So that reduces there. You remove the takedown lever, no tools required.
Check that out.
The frame itself just pulls out. Set that aside.
This guy looks like he's done this a couple times before.
There's a technique to it, that's for sure. But,
look at that.
So that slides in, takedown lever, slides in, just like so.
You said this is 40?
This one is these are both 9mm.
Okay.
So in a matter of less than a minute, I've transitioned my full-size gun at the range into a subcompact.
Wow.
Same serial number, same trigger pull.
You know, I love the trigger pull on the Sig P250.
I do too.
It's one of the best double action service pistol trigger pulls out there. Smooth, and whatever you guys did to get it down, it's awesome.
Yeah, that was definitely a requirement for us. It's been this is the first year now that we have all of the versions of the 250 available, so we're shipping all 4 calibers in full size, compact, and all but the 45 in subcompact that will follow within the next 90 days. So we truly do now have a modular system that really benefits folks that are out there.
What's the cost on this, Eric, if I buy this?
Suggested retail for this is about $970.
Okay.
Dealers, I expect, will probably have it low 9s, high 8s, realistically.
Okay, and you guys that know Nutnfancy will go, why didn't you give a camera shake with that? Because usually when there's a high price, I give the earthquake, the value earthquake, I call it. The reason I didn't do that on this is because that's going to be about the going rate when you get a caliber conversion. If you were to buy a Sig 226 long rifle and then buy the caliber conversion separately, you're going to be about there, aren't you?
You absolutely are.
Yeah.
You absolutely are.
That's a going rate for Sig, guys.
The 226, when you buy the 22 version, you pay less up front, but you still pay the same amount over the purchase of the gun.
Yeah, let's say I want to go with a 40 slide. It's going to be, what, $450 for that with coupon?
Pretty much, and it's a way for people to get into a SIG up front with less expense. For people that want a great 22, it's a great 22 to have.
Let me tell you, and Eric, I don't know if you've seen it, we've done a lot of shooting with your Sig P226 long rifle, and it is a great little gun. Great gun.
That's a conversion kit that worked out very well. Again, concerns about reliability on pistol conversion kits, they take a lot of massaging to get them where they need to be. So,
do you need to put this anywhere, or are you good?
No, it's gotcha.
Big thumbs up on that. We noticed some reliability issues, I think during break-in, and then if you use a high impulse 22 ammo like CCI mini mags, it's pretty much 100% now.
Excellent.
And it's just amazing the fun you can have with that, the training that we've done in the Nutnfancy project with it.
22 is one of the best cartridges out there in my opinion.
It really is. And then it has a rail on it so you can do your night shooting, and we've done that on plates a lot with the Sig P226. Wow. Anything else, Eric?
I think that's pretty much it. That's about most of the new products that we have this year.
Thank you so much. Sorry, camera blip. Sig Sauer, Eric Vonbosse?
Vonbosse?
Vonbosse. What a great host you've been to the Nutnfancy project. We're big fans.
It's my pleasure. We're big fans of Nutnfancy, and I certainly appreciate the opportunity to show what we have that's new.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Signing off from 2010 SHOT Show, Sig Sauer. Check it out. Nutnfancy. See ya! Nicely done. It's a full mag too.
I do what I can.
Marines.
I'll cover that one up.
Yeah, do that. Upper left. Oh,
Smooth.
freaking smoked you, dude.
With my own gun.
Oh, you got owned at night in the desert. You know I still think the world of you as a shooter. Dude, that freaking rocked. Wow. Okay, I'm kind of impressed with that gun.